He looked me straight in the eye and said it without blinking. "My bedtime is 11. We agreed. If the baby wakes up, it's your problem." And then he walked away. He walked away from me, from our crying baby, from a moment we were supposed to face together. That's when something inside me cracked. Not all at once, quietly, like ice giving way under the weight of a long, bitty. Let me back up. I'm 28. So is my husband. We'll call him Brad. We've been together 2.5 years. We had our son in January. And until now, I thought we were doing okay. Not perfect, but okay. We made it through the sleepless nights, the diaper explosions, the breastfeeding frustrations. We laughed, cried, held each other when things got hard. We were a team. Brad is diagnosed with autism and ADHD, ADHD. And I've always known that made certain things harder: routine, communication, flexibility. But we worked with it. I adapted. He tried, or at least he used to. We live in Sweden, where the government provides 480 days of shared parental leave. Initially, the plan was for me to take most of it. But because Brad's part-time work is subsidized by a temporary health insurance plan, and we didn't know if it would be renewed, we decided it would make more sense for him to take most of the parental leave. I gave up those days willingly, knowing I'd go back to work part-time, teaching students online from home. It wasn't ideal, but we agreed. This was best for our family. So I chose my hours carefully. Afternoons, when Brad would be home with the baby. Evenings, when he was also around. I only kept one student late at night, twice a week, from 11 to 11:30 p.m. We even talked about it. Brad asked me not to take anyone past midnight. That was his boundary. I respected that. I didn't push it. But then last week, Brad decided he had a new boundary. He told me he now needed to be in bed by 11 p.m. sharp. No exceptions. Not asleep by then. In bed. Lights off. Done. So I reminded him, gently, that I had my 11 o'clock student, the one we already discussed, and that I'd try to get the baby down by then. He didn't nod or reassure. He just looked at me and said flatly, "What's your plan if the baby wakes up? My bedtime is 11. Hopefully you've thought of something." No discussion, no compassion, no memory of the agreement we made together when I gave up maternity leave so he could stay home. I stared at him. My plan is, we're parents. There's a baby. Sometimes babies wake up. And if I'm working and he's not, I thought the plan was obvious. He didn't flinch, just repeated, "My bedtime is 11. That night, I nursed our son to sleep by 10:45. Quiet. Peaceful. I kissed his forehead and tiptoed out to begin my lesson. At 11, Brad was just stepping out of the shower, not in bed, not even close. And 5 minutes into my lesson, the baby started crying. I couldn't stop. I couldn't run to him. I had a student on the other side of the world, waiting for me, counting on me to show up. And I was showing up. For our family, for our finances, for the life Brad and I were supposed to be building together. So Brad picked up the baby. And when I finished my lesson and came out, there he was, walking circles in the living room with our son in his arms. I didn't say a word, just took the baby, nursed him, and watched his little eyes flutter closed against my chest. 30 minutes. That's all I needed. 30 minutes, 2 nights a week. The next morning, when Brad was leaving for work, I reached out to hug him like we always do. He stood stiff, cold, didn't hug me back. I pulled away. "Are you upset with me?" "Yes," he said. "You crossed my boundary. My bedtime is 11. Anything past that is your problem to solve." And then he left. I stood there in the doorway, holding our son in one arm, a lump in my throat so thick I couldn't breathe. My mind swirled with everything I've done, everything I compromise, so Brad can keep his world calm. I keep the house clean. I look after the cat. I take the baby when he works. I tiptoe when he's gaming with his friend. I hold the baby quietly while he unwinds with board games. I stay up. I nurse. I make sure we get time as a couple, even when I'm exhausted. And he can't stay up 30 minutes to help with the baby on my work nights? All because of a self-declared bedtime? No negotiation. No, I'm really struggling. Can we find a better way? Just, you cross my boundary. Is this what parenting is supposed to look like? Is this what partnership is supposed to feel like? That night, after he came home, we finally talked. For real. I told him his words stung, that boundaries are important. But this wasn't a boundary. This was a rule, a unilateral, immovable wall he'd built to protect his own comfort, regardless of mine. I reminded him that when we decided on the schedule, it was together. That the student was there before his new bedtime rule. That I wasn't springing anything on him. And most of all, I reminded him that we have a baby. A real, tiny, unpredictable human who doesn't care what time it is. A baby who cries at 2 a.m., who spits up at 4, who sometimes just needs to be held in the dark. That our son doesn't understand boundaries. He understands love, attention, presence. Brad listened. He apologized for how he spoke, for withholding affection, for the sharpness in his tone, and the way he made me feel like I was doing something wrong by simply expecting him to parent. We talked about support, about therapy, about how to communicate when his brain craves rigidity and mine is just trying to survive the chaos. He agreed to seek more resources through our local neuropsych services. I promised to work on how I communicate too, on not assuming he understands my needs just because I think they're obvious. And we made new agreements. When the baby needs something and I'm working, he's on. No conditions, no clock, just presence. Free time for either of us only comes after the baby is asleep, not before. My mother even offered to be on call through video if Brad is overwhelmed, because sometimes just seeing his Grammy's face can soothe our son in ways no lullaby can. I want to believe Brad is trying, that the pressure of fatherhood and his own health challenges got to him, that this was a moment of weakness, not a permanent fracture. But I also know that fatherhood isn't a job you clock into from 9 to 11. It's full-time, relentless, unpredictable. And love, real love, shows up in those 30-minute windows when no one's watching. So, am I the asshole for telling my husband that his sleep boundaries don't apply anymore? Or am I just someone who's tired of being the only adult in the room? This story isn't just about sleep schedules or 11 o'clock arguments. It's about the silent agreements that shape a family. The invisible labor that one partner shoulders while the other clings to comfort. Boundaries are important, but they aren't bricks we throw at each other when life gets messy. They're tools. They're conversations. They're made to protect people, not avoid responsibility. Brad's diagnosis isn't a failure. It's a fact of his life. But facts don't free us from the truth. Becoming a parent changes everything. You don't get to opt out when it's inconvenient. You don't get to clock out at 11 p.m. while someone else holds the crying baby and the weight of the world. So here's the question I want to leave you with. When you say you're building a life with someone, are you building walls or are you building bridges? Let us know in the comments. This is AITA Stories, and we'll see you in the next one.